The motivation for doing this is severalfold. I think one is my own background, having seen, my parents were immigrants, building a small business. Dad's father died when he was 13 in China, so he started work when he was 13. So family was poor, got himself on a boat at the age of 18, sailed down to Malaysia and started out working as a laborer, and then started saving some money, bought a bicycle to start buying vegetables to trade, and then bought a small truck, and then set up a small shop. And from that small business to be able to support us through our education, and how in one generation we transformed the economics of our family. And I did biochemistry and then did a PhD around cancer research and diabetes, and then went on and did 3 postdoctorate fellowships, thinking I was going to be an academic. But at the end of my sort of third postdoctorate, I decided that, research career wasn't for me, so I bailed out and started my first biotech diagnostics company. We supplied reagents to the major diagnostics companies. And that's how I started. So I'd done all the biotech funds, and then it was a holiday trip with the family down to South Africa. And I just didn't feel I could take my kids there without showing them the other side of South Africa. So we spent half a day in one of the townships outside Cape Town. And what I saw just disillusioned me. Here I was thinking I've been, giving money to all these charities over all these years, thinking that things were going to change on the ground. And I thought, nothing's going to change here. And I felt a sense that I need to give my time as well as my money, and use the expertise that I have to go and help build some real businesses. But if you're really serious about wanting to alleviate poverty and bring transformation to these communities, what choices are there? You've got to build businesses there. And so that was the beginning of this shift from biotech fund management to start what is now called social impact investing, looking at a social problem and asking, can we design a business to tackle this social problem that is also sustainable and profitable? Now, this is real investing for profit, for sustainability, but that must have also a social impact. So the second objective was conservation. So there we're engaged with 2 activities. One is reforestation in areas that have got bad erosion. We are replanting an indigenous shrub that is eaten by the animals, but also is great at capturing carbon. So this shrub is called spegworm. So that's a great shrub, and so we are doing conservation work around that.
So a hectare of spegworm pulls out 10 times more carbon out of the air than a hectare of rainforest. Yeah, I mean, it's proudly South African. I mean, it's one of the wonderful trees or shrubs or plants that we have in South Africa. Just over 100 years ago, there's over 2 million hectares, approximately 2 million hectares of spegworm thicket, this biome, in the thicket biome. So it's in our best interest to actually replant all the degraded areas.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a long process. One of the things that we do is also rehabilitation of overgrazed areas. So where the previous farmers that used to be in the area farming with Angora goats and sheep, they did overgraze the land quite a lot. So one of the things that we do is we cut spegworm and then we plant them in particular areas where they naturally did occur, and then we try and regrow them to stabilize the soil as well.
If you look at the terrain that we're in, and if you look at kind of mulch that you get here, this is quite rich.
And then the other conservation work is really around the species. So elephants, disease-free buffaloes. Cape Mountain zebras, these are different to the normal big Burchell zebras. They're now endangered, and we have a population that's being bred up there. With elephants, the interesting thing there is that Addo elephants were hunted down to almost 13 that were left at Addo. And so the population of 500-600 elephants that are there in Addo now has come from this small group of 13 elephants.
There's that elephant tracks on the road. This would be from yesterday afternoon going down to water or coming back up.
Animals are so important to conservation because if you have a large herd of elephants walking through some of these shrubs, you know, they start, sure they will feed, but they start to break branches off and so on, and these branches start to sprout.
So initially we found all these trees that were pushed over and broken, and initial thoughts of people that came here was, oh, look at all the damage the elephants are doing. And then the Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University started doing research here on the elephants about 6 years ago. For every tree that the elephants push down, that tree regenerates itself 4 times. So for biodiversity, for animals that depends on elephants for pushing over trees because they find a new micro-habitat underneath there that's working perfectly for us.
So what we're doing back at the game park is really to bring this idea back that you actually need these large animals with their dung to fertilize the land and enrich the land for grass to grow. And when the grass grows, then you can bring more animals on. We need animals. We actually need more animals to help with conservation rather than less animals.
For me, the big story was that we were able to take those 2 orphan cubs. They were 5 months old when they arrived here. They are now 4 years old.
These are the lionesses.
The lionesses, and they self-sustaining. They look after themselves. They hunt on their own. Well, I just had to bring them up in a way that they didn't associate food with the vehicle. And basically, I got them to start following the vehicle. But as soon as I got them to start following the vehicle, the red flags went up because you don't want animals following vehicles. So we had to change that behavior into, I wanted them in front of the vehicle in a sort of a hunting behavior. And because they were small youngsters, like young children, I mean, they can't sit still and they're curious. So if I stopped and they were next to me, I would just wait until they moved. So as soon as they moved, I moved. That had the effect that something small as a mouse was scared of the vehicle and ran away, and they would chase it. The mouse became a rat, the rat became a rabbit, the rabbit became a guinea fowl. And even monkeys that were scared of the vehicle ran away, they would chase them up a tree. And that's how they started hunting, and their first kill was a vervet monkey. That's the way that we could take them and put them back into the wild. And without me being able, I cannot call them, I cannot walk with them, and I cannot touch them.
And if you get out of the car?
Never, never, never. They're wild, they'll kill me. If I'm close to them and I do something stupid like get out of the vehicle, they're either going to run or they're going to fight, and I don't want to take the chance of seeing that they're going to come and eat me. And to me, that was one of the biggest conservation success stories that we've ever done. So I remember one point when these lionesses were about 9 months old, we were driving, me and my wife, in the camp. I said to her, if I can manage to get these lionesses wild, free, back into a wild system, I would have achieved something that I would be very proud of. And I think in everything that I've done, working in nature and monitoring lions for 28 years now, that was absolutely the pinnacle, was to have put those lionesses back into the wild.
Kuzuko's story is a story of love, conservation and community. And that's exactly why we were founded where we were founded. To create jobs, to educate, and to build a unique safari destination. Being part of a project like Kuzuko really touches your heart. You know, I think that's why I'm here. I actually was out of the industry for about almost 8 years. And what brought us back here was the vision, conservation, together with communities. We brought the two together to create a self-sustainable, profitable business, to be able to look after the communities surrounding the lodge, and also giving them shares in this project so that they feel that it's theirs and that you can impact into their future generations.
My own view about business is to try and create environments for human flourishing where everyone can develop to their full potential.